Okay, hello everybody. Today we're here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 in the Cessna 152. We have a 105 nautical mile flight from Papa Victor Foxtrot Placerville to Papa Alpha Oscar Palo Alto. Placerville is freeware by the mastery scenery designer V. Basilio, and Palo Alto is payware by Dreamflight Studios. We'll be flying VFR, and we've got some complex airspaces to manage, so it should be an awesome flight. Let's hop into the pilot seat and get started. Alright, today we're in JP Logistics C152 mod with my favorite co-pilot, Monica. So we'll start by checking that the parking brake is set, all of the switches are off, the circuit breakers are in, our mixtures to idle cutoff, throttle is idle, carb heat is in. Our trim is set to take off, fuel selector will turn on. Next we'll head over here to the window, open it up, clear prop, check that the prop is clear. Turn the battery and master on, check fuel quantity left and right, a little more than half a tank, which is just sufficient for this flight, a little bit low. Next we'll head over here and get the mixture into full rich. We'll crack the throttle and prime it. 1, 2, 3 strokes of the primer. And today I'm flying with my rudder pedals because my joystick twist axis is broken. So I get my feet on the toe brakes here. Keys in the ignition, and crank it over. Alright, got a good start. RPM's down to 1,000. Oil pressure is in the green. Next we'll lean the mixture for ground operations. That all looks good. Get the taxi light on while we're down here and boot up the avionics. Transponder to standby, COM 1, COM 2. And we don't have a liveatc.net ATIS because we're flying from an untowered field, really with nothing around us, so I'm just going to set the altimeter to field elevation, and then we'll dial in all of our frequencies. And while I'm doing that, we'll open up ForeFlight, and I'll take you through the flight brief. Alright, we are departing from an untowered field, which is Placerville. Placerville has a CTAF of 122.8. So we're going to start on CTAF, and then once we get up to altitude, we'll contact approach and pick up flight falling. We're going to fly due west from Placerville just to get out of the mountains. And we're going to look for our first waypoint, which is Shingle Springs. Once we overfly Shingle Springs, then we're clear of the mountains, and we can turn southwest and continue climbing to 6,500 for our cruise altitude. Our next waypoint is Rancho Murrieta, nice field that should be easy to spot. As we continue further south, we've got cooling towers, a lake, railroad tracks, and a road to be our next visual waypoint. Then we'll overfly Acampo and look for a VFR reporting point, which is Lodi. Continuing on to the southwest, we've got a whole water structure off to the north, so that'll be easy to spot. And we've got a class Delta off to our southeast. We've got the mountains up ahead as we continue southwest. So first we've got a nice big body of water here, which is Clifton Court Forebay. That'll tell us we're getting close. And we're making our way to Allamont Pass. So we're still flying at 6,500. You can see we've got a wind turbine farm here. These mountains with the turbines go up to about 2,000, so we are fine. And we're going to wait until we get to the other side of Allamont Pass to begin our descent. Once we clear Allamont Pass, we're going to look for Livermore, which is our next waypoint, and start our descent. And at this point, we are passing underneath the Class Bravo shelf that starts at 8,000. So we're fine, 6,500. We're going to descend down to 3,000 because the next Class Bravo shelf starts at 4,000. And now we've got a mess of airspaces. To the northwest, we've got the Class Charlie of Oakland. To the south, you've got the Class Charlie of San Jose. So we've got to be mindful of all of those shelves, and we're going to try to thread the needle between all of those, aiming for the train bridge here across the bay, which will bring us in probably on a left base for Palo Alto. I fly with the live weather when I can, but today we're flying with the preset because this is what the live weather looks like. See all those blue squares on the left-hand side where we're going? That's marginal VFR. So ceilings are 1,400 to 2,700, and that is just not going to work for our VFR flight. You can also see from the radar that it's just a mess of clouds and showers, and we've got a whole bunch of air mets, so not good for VFR flying, but great if we switch over to a preset. Placerville traffic, Cessna 565 Whiskey, taxi from the ramp to runway 23, hold short, Placerville. Alright, we're clear on our right, clear on our left, game on. Test my brakes. They work. And today I mentioned I'm using my rudder pedals, so I have a Thrustmaster HOTAS for my throttle and flight stick, and I also have the Thrustmaster rudder pedals. Normally I just fly with the flight stick because it has the twist axis on it, and I actually don't have a lot of room for my setup. And the past couple flights on my channel during takeoff, I've commented that it seemed like the wind was a little crazy because it would flip my aircraft and it would yaw all over the place. And I thought it was just the game being oversensitive, but it is actually my joystick. So we'll stop here and do the run-up. I'll tell you more about the joystick after that. So we've got parking brake set. We've got elevator up, elevator down, left rudder, right rudder. If we turn the controls right, left aileron goes down, left, right aileron goes down. So controls are free and correct. Next we'll get the mixture into full rich. We'll bring the throttle up to 1700 RPMs. Head down here and do our mag check. Mag left. We got a good drop. Back to both. Mag right. Good drop back to both. Got a carbureted engine, so we'll check carb heat out. Good drop for carb heat out. Carb heat back in. And while we've got the throttle up, we'll check the suction gauge. That's the tiny little gauge there. Oil temp and pressure. Oil temp's at the bottom of the green, but still in the green, so that looks good. And then we'll bring our throttle down to 1000. We'll head over here and get our transponder to Alt. We'll go down here and we'll get our landing light on and our strobes. Placerville traffic, Cessna 565 Whiskey departing runway 23. We'll be doing a straight out departure climbing to 6,500 Placerville. Release the parking brake and game on. So this freeware airport is amazing, like all of the Basilio's airports. I can't believe he publishes these for free because you could easily spend money for these. Check out the video details if you'd like to get a copy. It's available on flightsim.to. So back to my joystick woes. I had thought that the problem was in FlightSim, but it turned out it was the joystick. I could clearly see that when I went into the calibration settings, and I could see it just bouncing all over and moving on its own without even touching it. So the twist axis is shot after about 4 years of use, and I'm looking for a new joystick. I'm thinking about the Turtle Beach Velocity one because it's compact, it's similar with the twist axis built in. I like that it's got a small throttle and mixture control built into it. If you have that, let me know what you think of it. I'm looking like $100 to $200 range, so drop some recommendations in the comments for me. Putting my pilot's hat on, looking around as we're climbing out, I was just thinking how much it would completely suck to have an engine failure on climb out from this airport, because there is nothing but trees and mountains all around us here. So finding a spot to put down the aircraft in the 20 seconds or so that you have of remaining flight time would be a little bit dicey. Alright, we're going to turn on to our initial heading, and then we're going to dial in NorCal approach and pick up flight following. NorCal approach, Cessna 565 Whiskey, 5 miles west of Placerville, Papa Victor Foxtrot at 3,400, request flight following, destination Palo Alto, Papa Alpha Oscar at 6,500.
Cessna 565 Whiskey, altimeter 2, 9er 1, squawk 2313 and ident.
29091, squawk 2313 and ident, Cessna 565 Whiskey.
Cessna 565 Whiskey, radar contact 5 miles west of Placerville at 3,600. Proceed on course.
Position checks, proceed on course, Cessna 565 Whiskey. Alright, you're probably wondering where those voices came from. Those are AI generated just for this video to add a little bit of flavor to it. I'll talk a little bit about some of the ATC options out there. I am on the wait list for Say Intentions. I'm a bit doubtful of it because I think the $30 subscription is going to be a deal breaker for most people, and it looks a little wonky currently. I know it's in the beta phase. I'm also really interested in Beyond ATC. I've done both Pilot Edge and VATSIM. and all of those have their pros and cons. I like to fly in lots of different places, and often you're limited by where controllers are available or for Pilot Edge by the Western US. So I'd love to have a great ATC solution that lets me fly anywhere with realistic phraseology. Alright, so back to the flight. We are on track. Let's sit back and enjoy that awesome flight simulator scenery.
You've been picking fights with shadows twice your size, using candlelight to dance with your disguise. And when those rumors grow and silence takes this town, you never care enough to try and choke them down. Now there's nowhere left to run. Even the stars aren't out tonight. When it's all been said and done, you can't help but wonder why. You gotta break a few good hearts along the way to find someone who makes you wanna stay. If you could do it all again, there's not a thing that you would change. You gotta break a few good hearts along the way. You stood toe to toe with every doubt you've had, and learn to shine a light on things that make you sad. But looking for a better way around never seems to slow you down. When you've come this far, the pain ain't all that bad. You gotta break a few good hearts along the way to find someone who makes you wanna stay. If you could do it all again, there's not a thing that you would change. You gotta break a few good hearts along the way. Now there's nowhere left to run. Even the stars aren't out tonight.
Alright, that was another fun VFR flight with some fantastic scenery along the way and some complexity in airspaces to manage. Palo Alto for payware is only around $10, so if you like general aviation flying and you fly in this area, it's a steal. And of course, V Basilio's stuff is free, so definitely pick it up. I hope you enjoy realistic general aviation content like this. If you do, be sure to click that like button, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, as always, for flying along with me, and stay tuned for further flight adventures.